Yeah, hello, hello, hello. This is Sam Archer, your host. This is the Muzilog magazine podcast, and I have a very special, extra special guest in the building because we share a special kinship. We are both graduates from Full Sail University, so Full Sail is in his house,
Yes.
and he's here to chop it up with me for a little bit. But my brother, how you doing?
How you doing, Sam? Man, thank you for having me, man.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, man. You and I go back a little while. I think
yes, we do.
either you found me, or we. I think we might find each other through the networking group or something like that. I can't
Um,
remember how we connected, but we can. Normally I remember this stuff, but
I
yeah,
don't remember fully, but I think we had a lot of mutual friends.
friends. Yeah.
And I
hmm
think at one point I used to frequent the Full Sail, the network page.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it might have been there, or we were just talking about Karen Mason.
Yeah.
God bless her soul.
Yeah.
I remember even seeing her at Full Sail,
hmm
the lecture that she had there.
Yeah.
And actually meeting her at one of the City Baby conferences. I think it was in Chicago. We went to Chicago, and
I
she was
remember.
one of the
I think
panelists.
yeah, that had to be probably what
Yeah, yeah.
28, probably like 2017. 2018 or
It's
somewhere around there.
it's
Yeah,
so
so that,
a while
yeah.
back, and
hmm
so we chopped it up with her for a little while. I had an artist at the time that Nadira Norshahan, so we both went up there, and we have actually have a picture. So what I might even do is if I can find the picture, I'll probably just do a little insert of it
Yeah,
when I edit
that
the
would be
interview.
great, man. That would be great.
You
She's,
know,
obviously cancer is unfortunate, but
yeah, yeah.
Karen is one of those people that if you're
Hmm.
fortunate enough to, which one of you, if you're fortunate enough to have met her, and spend any time with her,
Hmm.
you're blessed because of it, because
Yeah, yeah,
she
yeah.
was a champion and she did not take no shit from nobody. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
that's Karen. She didn't. She's gonna tell you like it is.
Yes, she did.
And if
Yes,
you
she did.
didn't like it, too bad.
Too
But
bad.
she's gonna. That's the New York in her. That's the New York, and that's the part of the West Indian part of her. But she's gonna tell you like it is, man. But she is somebody that was a heavyweight in the music
Hmm.
business.
Hmm.
I mean, Sylvia Rhone handpicked her directly,
Mm, mm,
so
mm.
that should
Yeah.
tell you something,
Oh,
because
yeah.
she's the only.
Yeah.
Sylvia Rhone is still today. She's the only female black executive running a major label still. In the
And that's
business,
Sylvia. So,
yeah, there's no, you know what I'm saying? So for her to be picked directly by Karen Marie Mason tells you the heavyweight, because I remember she was working for the major record company, but then she decided she didn't want to raise her daughter in New York City, so
mm.
she left the corporate space.
Oh,
She left. She said, "I'm going to go work, and I'm going to go to move down to Atlanta," and that's what she did. I just want to I don't know
okay.
if she told her story, but and so she wanted to raise her daughter. You want to homeschool. Actually, she wanted to homeschool her daughter. That's why she left New York.
Oh,
She wanted to
okay.
homeschool her daughter Kenya because she just didn't want her daughter in that type of system, and she wanted to be there to raise her because she understood what being a record executive is, especially at that time. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, yeah.
doing what it was. So she left the corporate industry and moved out to Atlanta, and I think she um, started doing like film scouting, location scouting for like Tyler Perry, things like that. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
she started working with like Mary J. Blige, and that was one of her
Mm.
first clients independently. She started doing some marketing for when she first moved down to Atlanta. But yeah, she has an amazing story, man. So sad that she's no longer here. But
Hmm. Hmm.
if you were fortunate enough to spend time with her in any given time, you were so fortunate
Oh,
because of
yeah,
it.
she was
She was a force to be reckoned with. I tell you that
definitely a
much.
force. Definitely a force. And I remember seeing her doing her lecture at Full Sail. I tuned in online actually.
Right.
Shout out to Israel for allowing
Yes.
that.
Yeah, man, shout out to Israel. I'll tell you one thing, man. You know what's funny, Sam, is that Israel was never my teacher at Full Sail.
Oh, really?
He was never. He did. So I was in the EB program. So just to break it down,
Okay.
back then you had EB and MB. So um, the EB and MB program was, and it probably still even now is very similar, right? I mean, you teach.
Yeah,
That,
we have a similar.
you teach the program, so you know, right? So back then, I'm sure some of the classes are different now, but back then I had came in even though I had a music business background, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna just go do the EB program, and I was going to switch to the MB, but I think it was a technicality in my financial aid, so I had to stay EB.
Okay.
So because Israel taught in the MB program, I didn't have his class, but how we built the relationship was he would always see me around campus.
Okay.
And that's how we fostered a relationship. He'll tell you, he tells it all the time. He was never my teacher. Never my teacher, but he has become a friend and a mentor. And I used to always tell the students that I mentor, and I said, y'all don't realize who's in the room. Y'all don't know, y'all you really don't know who you're talking, who at that time, he's obviously, on the admin side now as a program manager. But I used to tell the students all the time, y'all don't really know who y'all in the room with now. What he means,
right there.
Yeah, what he means to the culture. I always would give him his flowers because as you get older, these young kids don't know. They don't know what he really means to a lot of people back then didn't really know. They just looked, he's just a teacher, And I said,
I was fortunate to have him for 2 classes. I was fortunate, actually, interestingly enough, part of what we're going to talk about today with Muzilog. I did introduction to marketing with him.
Okay.
And one of the assignments was to do a blog. And Muzilog grew out of that assignment.
Oh, very nice.
And I think I had him for like maybe another class later on down. But what you said about the 2 programs are true. EB, entertainment business and music business, there's similar track line on the courses. And then at some point they veer off.
Yeah.
But, because I remember being in class with a couple of them, and we had we took similar courses. And then eventually you started to see who was specializing into music and who
and I think for me, because I was fortunate because a lot of my classes, because I went to community college before, and the way the Full Sail accreditation works, they have a regional accreditation versus a national accreditation, which allows you to transfer credits in, but you really can't transfer credits out. So if you could start somewhere else and come to Full Sail, but it's harder to start from Full Sail, go somewhere else, basically, right?
Yeah,
so,
but at least the prestige of the school and what the school is able to bring to the table is worth it.
And I think so. And we'll get. And let's talk about this for a second. People who've never been to Full Sail don't really know what it's really about. All they hear are why you should never go to Full Sail. Full Sail doesn't make it. I said, that's the farthest thing from the truth, because at the end of the day, I said, so is UCF, so is Florida State. The reason why people think it's more expensive is because it's truncated. You're not going there for 4 years. So it seems like it's more, but it's about the same. My degree program off the street, without any credits, was going to cost me $57,000.
Yeah, that's about right.
Right,
yeah.
Right. At that time, with my student loans and scholarships from Full Sail, my class, I paid. It was $34,000.
Yeah,
and I had to take that. Right. So, and I was fortunate enough because of my disability. I was born with cerebral palsy. I was able to essentially get a free education from Full Sail. So I ended up going to Full Sail for free. Worked out for me that way. But but if you think about it, for $35,000, for $57,000, right? I got a degree, right? And so, if just to put it in perspective, if you went to USC Film School, right, you're going to spend about $75K a year.
Yeah,
that's just tuition. That doesn't include room and board. That doesn't include. That doesn't include. Right. So it's not really that much more expensive than a traditional school. But people who don't know that's why I always break it down to people. I said, because what's the difference? Like I tell people all this time too. Think about going to med school. You don't complain about the price of med school if you want to be a doctor, right?
No.
Nobody complains that when you go to law school, you're going to spend a lot of money. You understand that. But that doesn't stop anybody else from wanting to go to law school or med school. So I think the thing about Full Sail University is that we all want to be there. Nobody's there because somebody told us we had to go. Most of us went to other schools prior and decided to come to Full Sail just because of, one, the model of how it's created, and two, the community that is built. Now, they don't promise you success. Nobody can. That's why, and I tell a lot of the students that I mentor, I said, in the field, nobody cares about your degree. That's just the truth of it. When you get in the field, nobody cares. All they care about is, can you deliver? That's
and I like that point you made, because when I graduated, I delivered like instantaneously. Like when you come out, you're moving. You know, I didn't really need orientation and internship and all of that. You know, someone reach out to me, hey, I need such and such. And we discuss it, and boom.
I think, but since for you though, but you had industry background before, right? Before Full Sail, right? So
I did. Yes,
so that's different. That's a little different. You weren't coming there without any. You had been in the system.
I had some experience.
You know what I'm saying? So that makes you, like, before I went to full. I've been doing this since 2005, right? So I went to Full Sail 2013. So I had already been doing this for 8 years, even before Full Sail. So I had already had relationships. I had already been doing this. I went to school because I just wanted to restart in my journey in music, because it wasn't going the way I wanted to go. And also, my dad at the time wanted to see all his kids graduate from college, and I was the only one left that didn't graduate from college. So that was, and I remember going to him because I'm like, okay, this is going to cost me $57,000. My dad said he's not co-signing on a loan for me because I did, which is fair. He didn't do it for my sister, so he's not going to do it for me.
He ain't doing it for you.
I understand that. So, but it ended up working out for me. But yeah, man, I just love Full Sail University. And I tell any student, it's your job to make something of yourself.
That's true.
That's just what it is. Yeah.
And before we run away, the reason why I smiled when you say your dad wanted to see you graduate, it's interesting how our purposes are parallel here. The only thing was that my dad wasn't here to see me graduate. But I remember when I graduated from New York City Tech in Brooklyn, he was pushing me to go do the BA one time, and I didn't. I went and I got married.
Oh, okay.
So I went a whole other way. So by the time I got back to Full Sail, it wasn't really just about bettering myself. It was, it was like, wow, I needed to do this for me, and in a way do it for him, because he was like, yeah, go get it, and do this.
Right.
So it was just sort of like an additional thing. So when you said that, it sort of just brought an interesting parallel to us being grads of Full Sail,
for sure,
and sharing similarities in the purpose of what pushed us forward to do it. Yeah,
absolutely. And before we leave this subject, I'll say this, man. It has not been easy, because I've freelanced the whole time, because for me, being on the business side, me having a disability, I knew I couldn't live in, because there's really only 5 industry cities: LA, Atlanta, Nashville, New York, Miami. Those are what you would consider the 5 industry cities, at least here in the States, right? So, and I won't go into super detail why I can't be in those cities, but it just didn't make sense for me to be in any other city but Orlando, because of the fact I can't live in. There's some places I can't live in a lot of times due to weather and transportation, for me specifically. So I had no other choice but to do it this way. Otherwise, I wasn't going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So
you're making it happen, and you are inspirational, because sometimes I'm like, look, if Durell could do it, I gotta get up off my ass and make it happen.
And Sam, I'll say this, man, because I work with new artists who are really at the ground level, because that's who really needs my help. And the stuff is, they don't have any money. It's hard, and that's just what it comes down to. Like, a lot of people, that's always what's lacking. Somebody told me the other day, I have an ad running on social media right now about one of the services that I provide for artists. And, I try to ask questions to pre-qualify them to see if they're, if there's a lead's a lead. So you have to kind of pre-qualify them to see, Are they serious or are they not? And by certain questions, you can kind of tell where they're kind of at. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been
You
doing it.
have
I'm sure.
to
Yeah,
filter. You have to filter because you're
exactly.
right. There's you have folks who talk, and then you
Yeah,
have folks who are serious.
exactly. So this one guy said, well, what do you need? What do you? I said, what's your biggest struggle? He said, financial investment. I'm like, that's everybody's struggle. I mean, when you do this music thing and anything entertainment, nobody's gonna come and just invest in you like that. You got to invest in yourself, and I
Hmm.
think a lot of artists, don't. No matter no matter how you slice that pie, you got to invest in you. Ain't nobody coming to invest in you when you first start out in this game, right? Nobody's gonna, at
Yeah,
least nowadays, nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's going to. You cannot expect to get somebody to just give you some money and you don't have a product, you don't have anything solid that they can say, okay, that's going to give me a return. And it's already hard enough to get a return on music because this is art. So nobody can tell you and guarantee what the return is going to be. You know what I'm saying?
It's very high risk. It's a
Yeah,
very high risk, and you have to believe.
yeah,
To believe in
yeah,
it. As you said it, I remember people like Mighty Rich and Spike Lee getting a credit card from grandma,
yeah,
getting a
yeah,
little
yeah,
loan from this one just to get started, and look what they were able to do.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, somebody,
Many of us don't
somebody,
have
yeah,
many of
mhm,
us don't have that grandparent or that uncle that will
I
say, "Well,
believe,
here's a little 10 grand, go get started." So you got
yeah,
to make it happen. You got to find a
yeah.
way to do it.
You got to find a
Yeah.
way and figure it out. And the journey, and even when you do have success, it's
Hmm.
still difficult. I think people think even when you have success, it just is always going to be an easy road, and it's not.
Hmm.
And I think that's definitely the truth. And I've had some successes too, but
Hmm.
it's never easy. You just got to keep going. If you love it enough, I posted the other day on my socials that the real winners, they win because they just stay in the game long. You know, like eventually, if you stay in the game long enough, something's gonna have to shake.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too is that you stay in long enough, and then people think that it happened last night, right?
Right.
They don't see like the time and the dedication and the
Hmm.
years. They just like, oh yeah, he just did this, and then it just blew up. It went
Yeah,
viral,
yeah.
and you're like,
And
what?
look, these guys. I was having a conversation with an artist. He was trying to tell these artists today seem to think that, oh, if I just put my music on this blog or that blog or this blog, then it's just gonna blow up. Like it don't work like that. If it was that easy to just blow up, everybody would.
You would.
You know,
There you go.
everybody would. There's levels. I posted about this yesterday. There's levels to everything we do in life. There's
Hmm.
levels, and
Hmm.
everybody cannot get to the highest level. Everybody cannot
Yeah,
get. It's just what it is. It doesn't allow for everybody to reach the peak of
yeah.
whatever industry that they're in.
Well, the good thing is the opportunity is there for you to at least build a fan base of maybe
Exactly.
maybe a
A
thousand,
thousand,
maybe
a thousand people. That's the
you know,
benchmark. A thousand people
and
that
if you
spend a
can
hundred
get to
dollars a
that,
year. Yeah,
it will do some work for you. But
yeah,
it's really about getting the strategy together, doing the research as to where you are, and
yeah.
putting your best foot forward. So
Right.
yeah, but definitely, yeah, man. This is you're bringing some good points there. I'm sure folks are going to tap in and even connect with you as well, which would be great.
I
Where
would love that, man. I'm always here
consult.
to help. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm always there to help. I'm always there to.
Hmm.
So I give back a lot. I give back. You know,
Hmm.
a lot of information for free. And so when people do come and want to work with me, they should know, like, if you want to work with me directly, that comes with a cost. It just
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
does. And if you're willing to invest into yourself, I'm gonna invest back into you with my time, energy, and knowledge that
Hmm.
you're not gonna. Cause from my experiences, I can kind of tell you how things are gonna go. not necessarily verbatim because nobody knows, but like anything else, if you've been doing this a long time, you kind of know what's likely to happen versus what will directly happen.
Yeah, a little bit of intuition.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. A little bit intuition. No, it's true. I mean, if you're in the mix for a minute, you can't really predict exactly, but
No,
at least you can
nobody
see
can.
where things go. And
Right.
having some skin in the game,
For sure.
allows you some of that push.
For,
So
for sure. For sure.
before we run away, I'm looking at the time. We could probably do this for the next 2, 3, 4 hours, but you are an author.
Yeah.
Talk about the book a little bit, and talk about what you do, and
Okay. For sure.
and just share.
Yeah, man. So the book is called. I actually have a copy of the book in my hand here. A physical copy. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm sure you'll flash it somewhere in here.
In fact, I could do a quick flash right now, like that.
Yeah. There we go. Awesome.
Yeah.
But the book is called "Encourage and Inspire More Than a Hobby: Why I Chose to
Hmm.
Carve Out My Own Unique Path, Professional Path in the Music Industry." So I wrote the book because having a disability, one is already life is already hard as it is, but trying to get into the entertainment business and the music industry, there just isn't very many opportunities for people like me because a lot of us cannot go to, like I said, the industry cities. A lot of us cannot just move and go where we want to go to because of the restrictions that life unfortunately has given us. Right. So
You have restrictions?
so I knew for me, I just wanted to, because I've always kind of wanted. It's crazy. I'm not an avid reader, but I write well. So I knew I wanted to put out books.
Yeah,
I'm just be honest with you. Like I'm not an avid book reader, but I just write and articulate well. So so I knew I wanted to write books. If that makes sense.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
But so this first book, I wanted to be more my story, man, because I wanted people who read this book to be inspired, at least, especially people who look like me in terms of not necessarily my race, but having a disability. Say, okay, well,
Yes.
if Durell can do it or make an opportunity for themselves, then there's an opportunity for me, and it might not look conventional because I've had to take the unconventional route. I've never worked for a major label. I've never worked for a company, so to say, in the business that was paying me a check. So everything I've done, I've had to create on my own because of my circumstances. So, I've been fortunate, man. I've been to 7 different countries around the world, all through music. I've been featured in like 14 magazines.
So
I guess now 15.
You sure you have restrictions? You sure you have restrictions?
Yeah. So just sharing my story, man, and doing what I'm doing. So this book was something that was really, really special for me. It's not even about the sales, man. I did this for me. The sales,
Yeah. Sales
you know,
is,
yeah,
money's just part of the
yeah,
equation. It's not really the
exactly.
main.
I did this for me more than for me trying to become a best-selling author and that type of deal. Because a lot of things got to go right. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of that stuff to happen anyway. But this is more about if somebody can see my book, read it, and take something away from it. Even if you're not disabled, just taking something away from it and being inspired to keep going. Then I've done my job with the book, man. The book is available on a platform called Gumroad. Reason why it's not on Amazon is because on Gumroad I have it set to a minimum price of $9.99. But if this is the ebook version.
And
But
I will put information in the
okay,
notes.
no problem.
Share.
And then the cool thing about Gumroad is you can name your price. So if you wanted to just support the book and pay $25, you can. You know what I'm saying?
It's like Gumroad is like the Bandcamp.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
Bandcamp for any bank. Yeah, it's just like that for creators. Period. Whatever. You don't have to necessarily be an author. You can be whatever. You can sell anything on Gumroad.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Basically, you're
Well,
basically
well,
right.
I'm saying that for the audience.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
I have a clue, but yes, I'm just saying for the audience.
And Bandcamp is really cool too. You know, I love
Mhm,
Bandcamp because, again, Sam, I always talk about supporters. To me, fans
mhm,
are different from supporters. I can tell myself all the time, I can be a fan of you and never spend $1 with you.
mhm, mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But once
Well,
I
well, let
become a
me.
supporter, I spend money.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Well, let me share a short Bandcamp thing. So when I did for the first single of the last record I did is a song called Quality,
Mm-hmm,
and I was going to do it through CD Baby, which I actually did. CD Baby has been my aggregator for the last umpteen years.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, so something happened where it couldn't come out at the date that I wanted it to be on
mm-hmm,
because of some some miscommunication. So
mm-hmm.
I go to Bandcamp as a I had stuff on Bandcamp already, but I was like let me just put it in Bandcamp, and so the single comes out, and in about 2 3 weeks I had like $80 in there. I was like, yo, this thing is working.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
so when the album was ready, I didn't put the album up for streaming right away. I went to Bandcamp first, let it
Which is
sit.
smart, which is absolutely
Yeah,
look.
and then
You
so
know,
the fan base,
yeah,
yeah, there you go. Go ahead. Mhm.
yeah. What I tell people is, if you want to go stream my album, you go to the DSPs. If you want to go
Mhm.
support my record, remember the terminology is different.
Mm,
Streaming my record, support my record.
I didn't even know that,
Two
but
two
thanks
different
for
two different things because I remember I personally pay $12 a month for the premium version of Spotify,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
So yes, you're gonna get a royalty every time I listen to your song, right? But
mhm.
that's fractions of a penny per fractions of a penny. But
Yeah, yeah,
if I go to get that same album on Bandcamp, right,
yeah. Mhm,
that you have
mhm,
listed for $7 or 12, whatever you have listed for, I can
mhm.
name my price, or what's even better with Bandcamp is this: you can let somebody stream your song for free. You can let them stream it, but you can cap the streams. You can say, okay, well, you clearly like this record. You streamed it 3 times for free.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
That's true.
now you have to buy the record because clearly you like this.
Yeah,
You keep streaming it, so you know what I'm saying. So, and again,
yeah, yeah.
they have an artist. By the way, Song Trader just bought Bandcamp.
Oh, I
I just
see.
read that on Music Business Worldwide. Song Trader, Bandcamp is owned by another company, and Song Trader
Mhm.
actually bought Bandcamp, and they're going to keep it the way it is. Thankfully, because a lot of these companies will buy it, they try to change things, but they're going to
Yeah,
keep
yeah. Oh, that's.
the artist revenue share model because I think that's
Mm,
important. Because when artists can see money coming in from their music,
it
because
helps. It
it's
helps.
easier
Yeah.
to sell. It's easier to sell 25 T-shirts than it is to get 1 million streams. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You can make the same money selling about 40 to 50 hoodies
Mhm,
than it would
mhm,
off 1 million streams. What's easy for the independent artist? What's easier to attain?
mhm,
The
mhm.
1 million streams or the 40 T-shirt sales or hoodie sales? So you got to think
Yeah.
of streaming is to me is a form of exposure. It's not going to net you a whole lot of money. It's not designed to. What you do is you allow the streaming to create some awareness, and then you get people to come into your world. When they come into your
Mm,
world, and now you can build a
mm.
relationship with them. That's
That's what's
where the monetization comes in because they have a
that's what's
relationship with you. Why? Because you solve problems for them. Sam, your music solves problems for people. That's why they support it.
hmm
That's
hmm
the mentality I try to teach you with. So I created a framework called the Genesis of Superfan Building. If you break that down, the
mm.
Genesis means the
Yes.
beginning of of how to build super fans. Because the only way that independent artists can survive in today's world, they have to have super fans. It's the only way. They can't survive any other way because
Mm.
most people will never get signed to a record deal. Right? So you have to get those people that are diehard fans. The only way to do
Yes.
that is to know how to build super fans. And the way you build super fans is by building community, and letting them know that they matter, right? And the
Well,
fact that
I hope they do know that they matter.
yeah, and then the fact that you solve problems, I could use the word musicpreneur, right? Same type of deal. What do entrepreneurs do? They see a problem in the marketplace and they figure out how to solve it.
They solve the problem. Yeah.
That's what and it's supply and demand. That's really what it comes down to, right? So a lot of times, but the problem with artists is they don't look at themselves like that. I'm a creative, yes, but you gotta know how to sell, man. If you want this, if you want this to see, we hear the term sales, right? A sale, we don't realize as human beings, we in sales every day. We sell every day with what we post. So every day we're in sales, whether we think we are or not. Yeah, we may not work in the traditional sales job, but we're in sales every day. People who have children, right? Young children, you're marketing and promoting to your kids every single day. Why they need to eat these vegetables, or why they need to do what they need to do. So people don't think about it like that because our brains don't naturally go in that direction. But artists, for some reason, Sam, are so afraid to ask for the money. But there's a way to do that, though. You don't ask for the money right away. You have to build value first. When you build value, then we call it a sales funnel, right? Once you create, you have to create your funnel, and as you go down the funnel, creating value along the way, eventually they're going to either ask you how you can support them, or you're going to just give them an option how to support you, because they want to. Think about this: our people want to support you. They just need to know how to support you and why it's beneficial for them to want to support you. Right? Yeah. That's why I say fans are different. Fans, you want to turn interested fans into supporters.
Super. Yes. Yeah. And I like the points where I never thought about it that way, where you said you can stream my album or support my album. I like that.
That's for sure, man. I mean, for sure, because when you build support, right? I know that LaRussell, the rap artist LaRussell right now, he's doing his thing in the independent space, but I know what he does is he lets his fan name their price. Okay, what you want to pay for? You want to pay $50? Go ahead. So the artist that I manage right now, his name is Xavier Keys. He's out of Chicago. He's actually just moving to Orlando next week, but we've been working together for 8 years, right? So one of the things that initially attracted me to him was when he got with me, he was getting ready to put out his debut independent project on his own. And so December 4th, 2015, he got with me in August of 2015. December 4th of 2015, he released his debut independent project, and he sold 300 albums in 2 days to real people.
Wow!
And at that time, that was very much intriguing. And he was not doing streaming. At that time, his music was not. He was going direct to the fans.
Okay.
Right. So he was selling, and 300 people. And the most important thing, Sam, is he had the data. He was working with at that time. It's called Superphone now, but Ryan Leslie created a platform called Superphone that allows you to essentially market and promote through text message marketing at scale. But really, what it is, it's a CRM. It's a customer relationship manager that allows you to build real relationships with people. So he was selling direct through text message, because the text message is much more. Emails are great. Don't get me wrong. Emails still work, but people are afraid of text because they feel like text is too invasive, right? So, but a text message is much higher open rate than an email.
Yeah.
If you get a text, you're going to probably reply to a text a lot quicker than an email, because a lot of times you're hoping that subject line, that email, is going to be catchy enough to get me to want to click. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people they don't really know how to take text message marketing yet, because it's still relatively new, even though it's been around for a while. For a lot of marketers, it's still a new concept for a lot of them. And I've always felt like email marketing sometimes can feel like a real salesy sometimes. That's why I've tried to really go the text route, because to me, it's a little easier.
So Ryan still he still runs
For sure, yeah. Superphone,
business?
Superphone is still doing great, and
Okay.
it works pretty much with any industry. So whether you own a restaurant, whether you own whether you're a coach, whatever it is you do. Yes, he created initially for artists. That was his, but it works for pretty much in any industry. It just works that way. And as you can see, we have other people that have come up with the same concept with community. There are other people that have created, basically the same type of concept within another platform. But that's a good thing. So that lets you know that you gotta have competition. Competition is good. It allows you to stay. It allows you to stay on your P's and Q's. If you're the only game in town, it's like you kind of relaxing because ain't nobody else here, but when somebody else comes up with a product, it forces you to have to be like, okay, we got to stay on top because somebody else is coming for us. But what I liked about Xavier at the time was he sold directly to his audience and he had the data, Sam. The data is what's important. I think when you know where your audience is, like for instance in Superphone, you have a fan map. You can see where people are in the fan map. Right? Because I have phone as well too. So you can see from an artist perspective, the fan map. So if the majority of my fans are in another part of the world, why am I focusing my energy in my backyard when it really should be over here? Because that's where the people love one. So the data allows you to really show who truly, and then you can see how much money they spend with you. So then people say, oh yeah, I'm your number one fan. Oh really? Okay, let me go and really see how much money you've spent with me. So that really tells me how I should treat you. Right?
And where to focus the effort. Yeah.
You love all of your fans. So not every one of your fans will support you. So you love everybody, but like anything else, the more access they give you, the more they spend money with you, the more you're going to spend time nurturing those relationships because they're spending money with you. That's just the way business goes. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So when you have the data to show, and he had the data and has the data still to show where the people are, it allows you to make different decisions than just trying to guess. That's what we have to use. Even when I was Spotify for audiences and platforms, like, where are your listeners at? If your listeners are in Asia, why are you doing shows in Detroit? You know what I'm saying? Like that's where you got to go to where the people like what you do. That just makes the most sense, right? It makes the most sense.
That's what's up.
So it used to be prior to the internet, you worked your way locally and you worked your way out, right? So when you was coming up, that's how it was. You perform locally and you would work your way out. You perform locally, and remember the A&R used to show up at the club. Clive Davis showed up at the club to watch Whitney Houston. That would never happen today. Clive Davis showed up to watch Whitney.
Amazing. You'd have to be amazing.
Or the head of the label of a major label at that point, because that's what you would do back then. The goal was, if I perform at this place every week and I build up an audience, some A&R from some label is going to want to find me and say, give me a deal or give me at least a development deal. Because kids today don't know nothing about that. A development deal or a single deal. Yeah, that stuff don't exist no more. But a single one, we'll try a single out on you and see if that works. Right. So that's how it was back then.
And they had demo deals too.
Exactly. Yeah, demo, right. So that's because the record companies at that time had a lot much more control than they do now. They just don't have the control they used to have. It's a different game, man. Like it's a different game. It's a different time. If you're targeting millennials and young people, or not millennials, but Generation Zs, the Gen Zers.
Oh yeah.
And which the students that you're teaching now, the students in your classroom. They're different.
I call them the crazy ones.
Yeah, they're different. They want things fast, quick, and in a hurry. They're not listening to 3-minute records.
Totally different. Yeah,
they're not on Spotify listening to full albums. They want songs quick, a minute and a half. we're going to start
Oh,
seeing songs.
2 minutes is too long.
Yeah,
What?
we're going to start seeing 1 minute songs. That's going to start being the norm soon. 60
Wow.
seconds.
Can't imagine that.
That's where we're headed there, because they're not listening to music for the sake of listening to music. It has to be a point. Why am I listening to this? Right. So that's the era we're in. We're just in a different time.
Mm.
Like, so the record labels have to adjust how they do, because if you're dealing with most major labels are dealing with mainstream music, right? Who has the most disposable income in mainstream music? Young people. So they don't have any real bills. You know what I'm saying? If you're 14, 15, 16 and you're in school, if you have whatever job you have, that's disposable money. You're not paying real bills with that.
Yeah.
So you're not targeting. The major record companies have always been mainstream pop or mainstream music. So the young people don't care about a 3-minute record on radio. It used to be on the radio. You couldn't send a 3-minute song. You're gonna get that on. You're gonna get that on Urban AC. You're gonna get it on Rhythm, on mainstream. It is changing. The times are changing. The game. It's no longer about making a big, huge record. Now it's about the currency, social media. How many eyeballs are on?
Unless you're grown and sexy.
Exactly.
If you're grown and sexy,
Now,
we can do the records how long we want. But
and
if you're trying to do urban
and Sam, what do you think about this? Let me get your opinion. I mean, do you think the music video is dead? Do you think the music video has a place in today's space?
music videos?
The music video.
I still think so. I mean, not as long as it is, but it still has a spot. And I'm actually seeing the shorter ones where the artists might even do a video. They just do a TikTok thing, and then that's the thing that's running.
Here's what I'll say. I think depending on your audience and your demographic, the music video might still matter. But if you're Gen Z and Alpha, they don't care. So now it's like you better off spending that money, because you're not getting it played on MTV. You're not being played on BET. They're not playing music videos. Where's music videos being played? At YouTube. So who's going to go and watch a video of somebody who they don't even really know, who is in discovery mode still? Now, your core fan base might go back and watch that long form video, but they got to be in your core because they love you. But in discovery mode, they want to see short, quick, and fast. So now, 30-second videos, and not the snippet of the long, not the snippet of the long video. You need to shoot 7 different versions of that mini music, or we call it micro music video. 7 to 10 to 15 different versions of that song. That's the era we're in. So that music video concept for younger people, not for millennials, for my generation, and I'm sure you're probably what, Gen X? You're probably Gen X.
I forgot who I am, but
somewhere in there.
Somewhere in the mix.
Right.
I'm a 70s kid, so I think I might be Gen X.
I think you're Gen X then. Yeah. So yeah. So that's a different generation. You came up in the era of MTV, VH1, BET, and music videos. So that mattered, But these kids now, they don't care about none of that. So again, the game is changing. I was even thinking about this the other day. I don't think there's going to be a real need for American Idol anymore. I don't see American Idol and The Voice and all these platforms being the route to go, because now you just go on TikTok. I mean,
it's a whole different.
It's changing. Place now. I don't think you have to line up. I don't think you got to line up to audition for these judges to try to. We're going to start seeing that's going to go away at some point. And I just don't think
they've been expanding the type of artists that come. They're doing all types of entertainment now. The whole where it was music. That has changed.
So it's just a different time. It is a different time. You have to adapt to it, and it's tough because I don't even use the word recording artist anymore. I use the word. I say content creator with a focus on music.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what you are. You
I
know,
might need to start. I might
no,
have to talk to you a little bit more. I'm like,
I don't even use the word record because for today's digital age, that term doesn't exist to me because you cannot release a record without content. You can't.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. You got to have that content.
You have to have a content strategy behind it. Oh man, right? Also for people who want to work in. By the way, I didn't get to so I have a company called Double N Management and Marketing Group. I help independent artists really navigate the business side of the industry, really through education and knowledge and training. That's my passion. Because I believe that education is the missing link most independent artists, independent creatives, is they don't have the education they need to be successful. So that's where I feel I help. That's my calling, is to educate and share knowledge. Of course, I do other things outside of that. I do radio promotion. I do a lot of different things that what I call that allows people to come into my world. But what I really want to do is help people through education and knowledge. And that's what I see is really the missing link for a lot of them. Yeah, other than that, man, it's like I'm just doing what I do.
You're dropping some good gems, so we got to do a part 2 to this.
Sure.
Sure. But share how folks can reach you.
You can obviously you can Facebook on all social media at Durell Peart. That's my handle. If you want to go to my website is durellpeart.com. You can shoot me a text at textdurell.com. You want to get in touch with me directly, you can do that as well.
Well, there you hear it, guys. The music consultant, author, Mr. Durell Peart. He came to Muzilog and we chopped it up. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming through. This was amazing. And we're gonna have to do a part 2.
For sure, man. And I appreciate you for supporting independent artists, man. I want to thank you for what you've created, and I definitely will be sending artists your way as well, and hopefully get interviewed as well as get their music played.